The small, quiet town of Harbor Springs was nestled along the edge of a dense forest, far removed from the chaos of city life. Its greatest excitement usually came in the form of the annual fair or a local high school football game. Yet, that ordinary calm was shattered one crisp autumn evening when the sky over the town turned a sickly shade of green. Mira Halverson, a 32-year-old astrophysicist, known more for her wild theories than her accolades, was sitting on her rooftop, her laptop open and her telescope pointed toward the heavens. She adjusted her glasses and furrowed her brow as her screen displayed erratic signals, a pulsating rhythm that seemed almost deliberate. "You've got to be kidding me," she muttered, brushing back her unruly auburn hair. Her cat, Galileo, meowed lazily beside her. Down the street, Jonas Rivera, a former engineer turned inventor of strange, often impractical gadgets, was in his cluttered garage. Sparks flew from a device he was tinkering with, a crude amalgamation of wires, steel plates, and a toaster. "I swear this is going to work this time, Copper," Jonas said to his golden retriever, who cocked his head in doubtful curiosity. The device fizzled and popped, releasing a puff of smoke. Jonas groaned but quickly forgot his frustration as the garage windows glowed green. That's not the Northern Lights," he muttered, stepping outside. In the center of town, Sheriff Rebecca Carter was finishing her late-night patrol. Known for her sharp instincts and no-nonsense attitude, Rebecca was the glue that held Harbor Springs together. As the eerie green light illuminated the streets, her police radio crackled to life. "Sheriff, are you seeing this?" came a panicked voice. "I'm seeing it," Rebecca replied, already driving toward the source of the glow. The first encounter. The trio converged at the town square, where dozens of residents had gathered, gazing upward. A massive object loomed in the sky, a sleek, metallic craft shaped like an inverted pyramid, its surface covered in glowing, shifting symbols. The ship descended slowly, emitting a low hum that resonated deep in their chests. People whispered, screamed, or stood frozen. Rebecca took charge, barking orders to keep the crowd calm. Mira approached her, laptop in hand. "Sheriff, that thing isn't just hovering. It's scanning." Jonas appeared behind them, holding a device that looked suspiciously like a repurposed leaf blower. "So, anyone got a plan, or are we just going to wait for E.T. to say hi?" Rebecca gave him a hard look. "I hope that contraption of yours does more than blow leaves." Before Jonas could respond, the ship released a beam of light, and the ground beneath them cracked. A cylindrical object emerged, a spire covered in alien glyphs, pulsating with energy. The crowd erupted in chaos, scattering as the spire began emitting tendrils of light that arced into the sky. Mira, captivated, stepped closer, mumbling calculations under her breath. "This is a terraforming beacon," she said, her voice trembling. "They're not just visiting, they're preparing to change the environment." Jonas's usual sarcasm faltered. "Change it to what?" Mira didn't answer. The message, as the spire continued its mysterious activity, a holographic figure materialized in front of it. The alien was tall and slender, its translucent form shimmering with hues of blue and silver. Its eyes, if they could be called that, glowed white as it spoke in a language no one could understand. Mira stepped forward, her laptop now displaying a rapidly translating algorithm. After a few seconds, the words became clear. "Earth's time has ended. Your evolution has reached its peak. We shall reclaim what was always ours." The hologram vanished, and the spire's light intensified, casting the entire town in an otherworldly glow. "We need to destroy that thing," Rebecca said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Destroy it with what?" Jonas asked, gesturing to the alien structure. "My leaf blower isn't exactly a death ray." Mira's mind raced. "Not destroy, disable. If I can access its interface, I might be able to interrupt the signal." Rebecca nodded. "Then let's move." Rising tensions. The group approached the spire cautiously, navigating through the panicked crowd. Mira connected her laptop to one of the glowing glyphs, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "This system is centuries ahead of us," she muttered. "But it's also old. There are cracks in its design. Jonas stood beside her, gripping a crowbar he'd grabbed from his garage. Great! So, while you're hacking alien tech, what do I do? Look threatening? Rebecca scanned the area, her hand on her holstered pistol. You stay ready. I don't trust that ship to stay passive for long. As Mira worked, the spire emitted a high-pitched whine, and the alien symbols began to shift. A second beam shot into the forest, and moments later, mechanical figures emerged, alien patrol units, insect-like in form, with glowing eyes and sharp appendages. Okay, now I really don't like this, Jonas said, backing away. Rebecca drew her pistol. Stay focused, Mira. Jonas, cover her. The patrol units moved swiftly, their metallic legs clinking against the ground. Mira's voice wavered as she continued working. I'm close. Just buy me a little more time. Jonas swung his crowbar at the nearest unit, managing to knock it back. A little more time might not be an option. Rebecca fired at another unit, her shots hitting its glowing core. The creature sparked and collapsed, but more were coming. The turning point. Mira let out a triumphant cry. I've disrupted the signal. The spire is shutting down. The glowing tendrils retracted, and the spire dimmed. The alien patrol units froze in place before collapsing. The townsfolk who had been watching from a distance cheered, but their relief was short-lived as the mothership emitted a deafening roar. A second, larger spire began to emerge from the ground, its glow even more menacing. Mira's face fell. This was just the first wave. They're escalating. Rebecca holstered her weapon and addressed the crowd. Everyone, evacuate to the high school gymnasium. It's our best shelter. Jonas turned to Mira. Please tell me you've got a plan B. Mira's eyes glinted with determination. I have an idea, but we'll need to access the main ship. If we can disable their core, we might have a chance. Rebecca looked at the mothership, now descending closer to the ground. Then we'd better move fast. Stakes are set. As the trio prepared for their next move, the sky above them began to shift. More alien ships appeared on the horizon, their ominous forms signaling the scale of the invasion. This isn't just Harbor Springs, Mira said quietly. This is global. Jonas tightened his grip on his crowbar. Then I guess we'd better save the world. Rebecca smirked despite the dire situation. Let's hope your leaf blower comes in handy after all. With that, they set off toward the mothership, knowing they were humanity's best, and as the alien mothership loomed closer to the surface, its eerie green glow casting long shadows over Harbor Springs, the trio found themselves racing against time to confront a seemingly invincible force. Chaos in Harbor Springs. The streets were a frenzy of activity as townsfolk scrambled to follow Rebecca's orders. Parents rushed to gather their children, shopkeepers hastily boarded up windows, and cars lined up to head toward the high school gymnasium, the town's only designated shelter. The air was thick with tension, punctuated by the occasional mechanical clatter of alien patrol units still lurking in the shadows. Mira, Jonas, and Rebecca regrouped at the sheriff's office. Jonas was rummaging through a duffel bag filled with his improvised gadgets, pulling out items like a modified drone and a device that looked suspiciously like a blender with antennae. I call this one the EMP blender, Jonas announced, holding it up proudly. Rebecca raised an eyebrow. And what exactly does it do? Short circuits electronic systems, or makes a mean smoothie, depending on the setting? Mira ignored their exchange, her focus on a holographic map of the alien ship projected from her laptop. This mothership isn't just a command center, it's coordinating the terraforming process. If we don't stop it soon, this entire region will become uninhabitable within hours. Rebecca leaned over the map. How do we even get close to something like that? Jonas grinned. Leave that to me. I've got a drone that can scout for weak points, and if that fails... Well, I've got a crowbar. Mira frowned. We're going to need more than a crowbar. The first plan, armed with Jonas's drone and a rudimentary plan, the group headed to a vantage point just outside town. The drone zipped through the air, its camera feeding live footage back to Mira's laptop. There, Mira said, pointing to the screen, That port near the base of the ship, it's some kind of intake vent. If we can deliver an EMP charge directly into it, we might be able to disable their core systems temporarily. Jonas adjusted the drone's controls. Good thing I packed the EMP blender. Let's hope it's not allergic to aliens. The drone maneuvered toward the vent, its tiny payload humming with energy. As it approached, a blinding beam of light shot out from the ship, disintegrating the drone in an instant. Plan B? Rebecca asked, her tone calm but urgent. Mira stared at the screen, her mind racing. We're going to have to get inside the ship ourselves. The approach. Under cover of night, the trio made their way to the alien spire in the town square. Mira had determined that the spire served as a direct link to the mothership, and if they could activate it without triggering a defensive response, it might transport them aboard. Rebecca took point, her pistol drawn, as Jonas carried a backpack stuffed with tools and devices. Mira followed, her laptop strapped securely to her chest. The spire emitted a soft hum, its glyphs pulsating rhythmically. Mira approached cautiously, her fingers brushing over the alien symbols. It's like a biometric lock, she murmured. I need to mimic their energy signature to activate it. Jonas rummaged through his bag, producing a gadget that looked like a tuning fork. Try this. It's supposed to resonate with high-frequency waves or tune guitars. Mira hesitated but pressed the device against the spire. The glyphs flared brightly, and the ground beneath them trembled. That's not a good sign, Jonas muttered. A beam of light enveloped them, and the next thing they knew, they were aboard the mothership. Inside the mothership, the trio found themselves in a cavernous chamber, its walls lined with glowing panels and alien machinery. The air was thick with an unearthly hum, and the temperature was uncomfortably warm. This is like stepping into a sci-fi movie, Jonas whispered, his voice tinged with awe. Rebecca scanned the room, her pistol raised. Stay focused. We're not here to sightsee. Mira studied the panels, her laptop now displaying streams of alien code. This place is a maze, but if we can find their control center, we might have a chance to shut this down. Their progress was slow and cautious, each step echoing ominously in the vast corridors. Alien patrol units, now more advanced and numerous, moved methodically through the ship. The group narrowly avoided detection several times, ducking into alcoves or hiding behind machinery. The first confrontation, as they rounded a corner, they came face to face with a towering alien sentry, a bipedal machine with razor-sharp appendages and a glowing core. Run! Rebecca shouted, firing her pistol. The shots ricocheted harmlessly off the sentry's armor. Jonas hurled one of his gadgets, which exploded in a burst of sparks, temporarily blinding the sentry. The group sprinted down the corridor, their breaths ragged. Mira skidded to a halt in front of a sealed door. This must be the control center. Jonas began working on the door's lock, using a device that emitted a high-pitched whine. The sentry's footsteps grew louder as it approached. Hurry up, Rebecca urged, firing another round at the advancing machine. The door hissed open just as the sentry lunged. Jonas yanked Mira inside, and Rebecca slammed the door shut, locking it behind them. The control center. The room was unlike anything they had seen. A circular chamber filled with holographic displays and a massive console at its center. The walls were covered in alien glyphs, their glow pulsating in sync with the mothership's hum. Mira immediately got to work, connecting her laptop to the console. This is it. If I can overload their energy core, it should shut down the ship and the spires. Jonas and Rebecca stood guard, their eyes darting between the door and the surrounding displays. Mira, how long is this going to take? Rebecca asked. Longer than we might have, Mira replied, her fingers flying across the keyboard. The ship suddenly jolted, and the displays flickered. An alien voice echoed through the chamber, followed by a holographic projection of the alien commander. You cannot stop us, the commander said, its voice resonating with unnatural clarity. Your resistance is futile. Jonas smirked. Wow, they really went with the classic villain line. Rebecca shot him a look. Not the time. New complications. As Mira worked, the ship's defenses activated. Panels along the walls opened to reveal smaller patrol units, which scuttled toward the group. Rebecca and Jonas fought valiantly, using everything at their disposal to hold off the machines. Rebecca's pistol proved effective against the smaller units, while Jonas's gadgets provided creative, if unpredictable, support. "Keep them off me for just a little longer," Mira shouted, her voice strained. Jonas hurled his EMP blender at a cluster of machines, short-circuiting them in a burst of sparks. "That's the last of my toys." Rebecca reloaded her pistol, her jaw set in determination. "Then we'll have to get creative." The breakthrough. Mira let out a triumphant cry as the console emitted a low hum. "I've done it. The core is destabilizing, but we need to get out of here. Fast!" The ship began to shake violently, its systems failing one by one. Rebecca and Jonas grabbed Mira, and the trio raced back through the corridors, dodging collapsing machinery and malfunctioning patrol units. They reached the spire just as the mothership began to descend uncontrollably. The beam of light enveloped them once more, transporting them back to the town square. As they collapsed onto the ground, the mothership above them erupted in a blinding explosion, its debris scattering across the sky. The townsfolk emerged from their shelters, cheering as the alien threat was seemingly defeated. But Mira's expression remained grim. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "That was just one ship. There's more out there." Rebecca placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Then we'll be ready." Jonas grinned, holding up a salvaged piece of alien machinery. "And next time I'll bring better toys." The destruction of the first mothership sent shockwaves across the world. But celebrations in Harbor Springs were short-lived. As debris rained from the sky, Mira's worst fears were confirmed. The first wave was merely a prelude to a full-scale invasion. The revelation, the next day, dawned eerily quiet, with an oppressive red glow tinting the horizon. Mira, Rebecca, and Jonas stood atop the rubble of the spire, staring at the ominous sight beyond the town limits. Several new alien ships, sleeker and more menacing than the first, hovered in formation. They were larger, their shapes resembling jagged blades slicing through the clouds, with energy beams rippling across their surfaces. Jonas let out a low whistle. "Well, that's not ideal." Mira's laptop chimed with an alert. She flipped it open and frowned. "They've adjusted their strategy. The new ships are equipped with stronger shields and advanced weaponry. They're deploying multiple spires now, each one faster than the last." Rebecca clenched her fists. "What's the endgame here? Why are they so intent on turning Earth into their backyard?" Mira hesitated, then spoke in a low voice. "The energy signatures from the spires match those of dying stars. I think they're harvesting our planet's core. Once they're done, Earth will be a husk." Jonas raised an eyebrow. "So, not just real estate, they want to turn Earth into a cosmic batteries?" Mira nodded grimly. "Exactly. The rallying call." Word of the second wave spread quickly, and Harbor Springs became a beacon of hope and desperation for nearby towns. Survivors trickled in, bringing stories of cities reduced to ash and resistance movements crushed under the alien onslaught. Rebecca stood in the center of the high school gymnasium, now a makeshift command center. Maps, schematics, and alien glyph translations were pinned to the walls, while townsfolk worked tirelessly on preparations. "We can't rely on the government anymore," Rebecca announced to the assembled crowd. "We're all that's left. If we don't stop them here, there won't be anywhere left to run." Her words were met with murmurs of agreement, but the fear was palpable. Jonas stepped forward, his usual smirk replaced with determination. "She's right. And lucky for you, I've been working on some new gadgets. Let's make those aliens regret picking a fight with Harbor Springs." Mira joined them, her laptop tucked under her arm. "We've identified a pattern in their movements. If we can disrupt the spires before they fully activate, we might slow them down long enough to strike back." Rebecca nodded. "Let's get to work. The battle begins." The first confrontation came sooner than expected. As Mira and Jonas worked to rig explosives near the new spires, alien patrol units descended on them. These units were faster and more aggressive, their sleek designs making them harder to target. Rebecca, leading a small team of armed volunteers, held the line. "Focus your fire on their joints," she shouted, blasting a patrol unit's leg out from under it. Jonas fumbled with a makeshift grenade, tossing it into a cluster of advancing units. It detonated in a flash of light, sending sparks and alien debris flying. "I think that's my best work yet," he quipped, ducking as a laser beam scorched the air above him. Mira's voice crackled over the radio. "We've almost got the spire rigged. Hold them off for another minute." Rebecca gritted her teeth, reloading her pistol. No pressure then. The turning point. As the team retreated from the first spire, its destruction sent shockwaves across the battlefield. The alien ship seemed to hesitate, their movements faltering for a brief moment. Mira's eyes widened as data streamed across her screen. "They're linked," she exclaimed. "The spires are part of a network. If we take out the central node, we could disable all of them." Jonas raised a hand. "Quick question. Where's the central node?" Mira hesitated. "It's aboard the command ship." Rebecca exhaled sharply. "Of course it is. Boarding the command ship." Using the remnants of the alien spire's technology, Mira devised a risky plan to transport the trio directly onto the command ship. The process was far from smooth. When they rematerialized, they found themselves in a cramped, dimly lit corridor filled with pulsating cables and alien machinery. "Next time," Jonas grumbled. "I vote for a less bumpy ride." Rebecca ignored him, her pistol drawn. "Stay sharp. They know we're here." The command ship was unlike the first mothership. Its corridors were labyrinthine, with walls that seemed to shift and rearrange themselves. Mira relied on her laptop to navigate, deciphering the alien code in real time. The trio encountered resistance at every turn. Alien sentries, now equipped with energy shields, proved difficult to dispatch. Rebecca's precise shooting and Jonas's gadgets kept them moving, but the constant onslaught took its toll. Mira's voice was steady despite the chaos. "The core is up ahead. If we can overload it, it should trigger a chain reaction." Rebecca nodded. "Let's finish this." The final stand. The core chamber was massive, its centerpiece a swirling vortex of energy suspended above an intricate lattice of alien machinery. Glyphs covered every surface, their glow intensifying as the ship's defenses activated. Mira sprinted to the nearest console, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "I need 5 minutes to override the safeguards." Rebecca and Jonas took positions near the entrance, holding off waves of alien units. Jonas tossed his last grenade, the explosion buying them a few precious seconds. "Not to rush you," he called out, "but we're running out of ammo and options." Mira didn't look up. "Almost there." The alien commander's hologram appeared in the center of the chamber, its voice echoing with chilling authority. "You are too late. Your planet will serve us, as countless others have." Rebecca fired a shot at the hologram, which passed harmlessly through it. "Yeah, well, we're not going down without a fight." Jonas smirked. Classic hero line. The defenses intensified, with laser beams crisscrossing the chamber and patrol units closing in. Rebecca sustained a minor injury, but she refused to back down, her determination unwavering. The sacrifice. As Mira initiated the core's overload sequence, the energy vortex grew unstable, sending bolts of electricity crackling through the chamber. "It's done," Mira shouted. "But we need to get out of here now." The trio raced toward the exit, but their path was blocked by a towering alien sentinel. With no time to spare, Jonas made a split-second decision. He activated a device in his hand, creating a localized EMP that disabled the sentinel, but also fried the surrounding systems, including their escape route. Rebecca's eyes widened. "Jonas, what are you doing?" Jonas gave her a lopsided grin. "Someone's got to make sure you two get out of here. Go." Before either of them could protest, Jonas shoved a backup teleportation device into Mira's hands and pushed her toward Rebecca. The device activated, enveloping the two women in a flash of light. The aftermath. Rebecca and Mira rematerialized in the town square, just as the alien command ship erupted in a cataclysmic explosion. The sky lit up with fire and debris, and the remaining spires collapsed one by one. The townsfolk cheered, their relief palpable. But Rebecca and Mira stood in silence, their gazes fixed on the burning remnants of the command ship. "He saved us," Mira said softly, clutching the remains of Jonas's EMP device. Rebecca nodded, her expression hard. "And he gave us a chance to fight another day,